Hey guys, it's your boy Mark back with another video. Rank Wednesday number 65, I believe. This is Rank Wednesday. Number 65. Me ranking the Chucky franchise. I'm actually gonna put much more effort into this. I'm gonna talk about each thing. Hopefully this video won't be too long. And this is up to season 1 of the Chucky TV series, by the way. And oh fuck, I just realized I forgot to include the Child's Play remake. Where would that be? I'll just put it here real quick. I went back to notes to put it there because oh far out. So I literally went back to the list as I was recording. But yes, I love the Chucky franchise. Chucky is the reason I got into horror movies. He is by far my favorite horror killer, slasher, whatever you want to call it. And I remember back in 2009, back on FanPop, I was known as the biggest Chucky fan. My name on FanPop was ChuckyFan999. And oh man, I wish, I know I've said it before in quite recent videos a lot, but I do wish that Revenge of Chucky was a real movie. That shit would probably be number 1. I know it's not a real movie, and there's no way of telling how good or it might have been, but that shit I think would have been by far number 1 if it was a real movie. But yeah, let's get to the ranking. 9 things to rank right here, and yep. So let's get on with my ranking. Number 9, I have Cult of Chucky. I was very excited to watch this. I saw that in Australia it was rated R18. R18 plus, as Australia puts it. And I was very excited to watch this. I didn't really watch this until 2019, I think. And I don't know, man. I just wasn't into it at all, this movie. I don't really like it. This and number 8, I honestly have only watched once, and I don't remember exactly what happened. It did have this really cool kill with this bitch on one of those dentist type chairs, and the glass ceiling breaks, kind of like in Bride of Chucky. And it slices her head off. That was a freaking mean ass kill. But I just wasn't into this, and the whole multiple Chucky thing, I don't know, I just didn't like that. I'm not about that, you know? I get that, Don Mancini, I guess, was, as passionate about that. And although in Chucky Season 1, that was extremely entertaining, I'll admit that at least, but when it started, and even, if I were to go back, I just probably wouldn't enjoy that. But I'm not a fan of this movie. The Andy stuff in, the first, 15 minutes or whatever, that was cool. I was really into that. And I was like, bro, I think I'm gonna love this movie. Those first, 10 or 15 minutes with Andy, and with Alex Vincent, too. That was awesome. But the movie as a whole, just not for me. I'm just not into it. Again, I only saw it once. I have very little desire to go back to it. But yeah, very easy last spot. Number 8, I'm gonna go Curse of Chucky. I'm not a fan, honestly. I was happy though, back in 2013 when this came out. I was like, what? Finally Chucky is back. I didn't think we were gonna see him again. You know, because it seemed like it was definitely over, after Seed of Chucky. And even though I've said quite recently, actually, that for me personally, in a lot of ways, Seed of Chucky is where this franchise ended. I didn't watch this until maybe 2017. I watched it online. That's still the only time I've watched it. And once again, I just wasn't into it. I don't know what I rate it. Um, but I guess by default it would be better than like definitely better than Cult for me. But Curse of Chucky. One thing I did love about it though, I'll definitely say this, was that it seemed like it did seem like when we saw like the trailers and saw that Chucky was like didn't have the scars anymore seemingly, like as if and I just realized something in terms of scarred Chucky. I'll get to that in a bit. Like I just realized that well, I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember what I was trying to say. That it seemed like he wasn't gonna have scars again in this one on his face, and then when I found out that he still does actually have the scars, spoiler alert, I was like, yeah, so that means Seed of Chucky is still canon. It seemed like Curse was like gonna be like they were gonna do that like pretend these previous installments didn't happen type thing, and that means that Bride still happened, Seed still happened. I was very ecstatic about that, and I love that. Maybe I should give this movie another shot eventually, but still just not really a fan. But I did love the reveal when Chucky still had that, the stitches and all that. But yeah, Curse of Chucky number 8. Number 7, I'm gonna go with Child's Play 3. Now everything from here on out I do like. Okay, Child's Play 3, I still think is like by far like the weakest out of like the original Child's Play films. Like if I'm watching like Full Metal Jacket, I love Full Metal Jacket. Like I do like the military setting obviously, but like in Chucky, the military setting like just bores the crap out of me, man. I'm gonna be real. There's some characters I like. I like Tyler, the kid. And De Silva was pretty cool. Even that bully guy was pretty cool. I didn't like know what Full Metal Jacket was back in like 2008 when I watched this, but like it was like when I see some scenes from this movie, I'm like, bro, this is obviously like kind of like, I guess, a homage to Full Metal Jacket, just with Chucky in there. Oh, the way that Chucky died in this one was so awesome though. Like when he gets half of his face like sliced off, and then he gets thrown into the fan, and then just blood splashing everywhere. Oh, that was so cool. Oh, that was so cool, man. And I'll get on to like more about Chucky deaths in the next one, the next thing after this. But Child's Play 3, I like it. The military setting does bore the crap out of me, but there's still plenty of stuff I do like about it. And I still remember this nice conversation I had with my mom about the character of Tyler, like how his job was to deliver that parcel. But when he like tripped or something and then he ripped it open and he saw it was like a good guy doll, he went, and because he's a kid, of course, he would love to see that, and he went to open it himself and just keep that doll for himself. And even Mom was like, he's a kid, hey, so of course he'll like that stuff. And just a nice wholesome conversation I remember. I wonder if my mom remembers that. Anyway, Child's Play 3, number 7. Number 6, Seed of Chucky. I unapologetically love Seed of Chucky. Not as much as when I first watched it, actually. I've watched this like too many times. I almost like just know everything off by heart. And it's kind of like the game Bully. You guys know that that's like my favorite game of all time, but like I've played it so much. It's like I've grown like immunity to it at a certain point. I feel kind of like that with Seed of Chucky. I've watched it so many freaking times. And I still love it, I know a lot of people don't like this, but you can't deny that the kills in this movie were freaking dope. Alright, no matter what you feel about this movie, like, you can't deny that the kills weren't dope. They really, like, upped the blood in this. Like, there was so much blood spewing in this movie, and I love that shit. Chucky's death was amazing in that. And, honestly, speaking of Chucky, honestly, for me, the way he looks specifically in this movie, not even a question. By far, my favorite way of how he looked. And this movie honestly got me into horror movies in general. Because, back in, 2006, Halloween 2006 to be exact, I already done my trick-or-treating. I was sort of into, not really into horror, but I was into, like, scary movie, like those funny, stupid movies and all that. I wasn't really into actual, like, horror movies, though. And on Halloween night, we were, like, scrolling through TV, and I did notice this movie, like, playing, called Seed of Chucky. And I'm pretty sure I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again, screw it. And, I did notice, like, a movie called Seed of Chucky, like, when I was scrolling through TV, like, many times prior. And I think, like, because of the word seed, I probably, and keep in mind, I was 8 years old at the time, I definitely, like, imagined that, it was, that Seed of Chucky was, like, a movie about gardening or something. I really did think that like that Seed of Chucky was, like, a movie about gardening or something. And then when we were scrolling through, and the TV channel that we were scrolling through happened to be on Seed of Chucky, and for, like, a brief moment, like, the screen showed Chucky with, like, his face, and he had scars all over his face, and then, like, my mom or my aunt, whoever, immediately changed it, and I was like, oh my gosh, what was that? Because I guess, like, because of scary movie, I was slowly getting into, like, proper horror, sort of-ish. Like, and then, like, because, like, obviously, you know, I think even back then I knew about, like, the concept of a killer doll, you know what I mean? But, like, to see a killer doll with scars, stitches on his face, you know what I mean? That was, like, honestly one of the most unique things I'd ever seen. You know what I mean? And, like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I think I immediately, like, later that night, I changed it back to Seed of Chucky, and I saw the part at the end when he gets killed. And I immediately booked it to watch it the next morning. And I watched the whole movie start to finish the next morning. Well, not the whole movie. I did miss the opening titles. But, like, right when Claudia opens her gift and she finds she got Glenn, like, that was when I woke up. And my mom and aunt were doing gardening while I watched the whole movie start to finish. Which is kind of ironic. I just realized how ironic that is, because I thought, because of the word seed being in the title, that it was a movie about gardening or something. You know what I mean? Speaking of Chucky's death, such an awesome death in this movie, by the way. That's one thing I missed about this franchise too. I mean, technically, yes, we do see Chucky get killed a whole bunch of times, because there's, like, multiple Chucky dolls, each with a piece of Charles Lee Ray's soul. You know what I mean? But I do miss that, like, tradition of, like, every Chucky movie, like, ending with Chucky's death. You know? I do miss that tradition. You know, like, Child's Play 1 ended with him getting burnt, then shot in the heart. Child's Play 2, he gets in that factory with a whole bunch of mold stuff, then he gets blown up. Child's Play 3, oh man, he gets his face, half of his face sliced off, and then he gets into the freaking fan, and then just splatters everywhere. Spider Chucky, kind of a lame-ish death. He just gets shot. But Seed of Chucky, probably my favorite one of the whole thing. When he just gets all of his limbs chopped off, blood spewing after each one, then finally gets his head chopped off, still blood spewing. And I unapologetically love Seed of Chucky, okay? I love it. Okay? I love it. And, so obviously it's not a perfect movie. There's so much stupid stuff about it. And weirdly enough, back then, there was this thing in movies that really terrified me. Like, when I saw, like, organs in movies, that was the scariest thing ever to me. Like, I hated, and even though my mom and aunt loved watching it, I hated House, that show House, you know, with Hugh Laurie, who's awesome, by the way. Because there's this thing in that show when like you would, like, it would literally go inside patients, and you would see their organs and all that, and you would see what was wrong, and that was that was so terrifying to me. You know what I mean? Oh man, just what was going through my mind when those scenes came up and I saw it as a kid. It terrified me, and I know I'm going, and I know we've still got a lot to go. Oh my gosh, that terrified me. And when Tony Gardner opened up Tiffany's back, that terrified me. Okay, that was the one scene that actually terrified me from this movie as a kid. And even when I got it on DVD, I would always skip that bit. But nowadays, I could easily watch it, you know. And in a way, I'm like thinking, bruh, should you have really been that scared? I mean, you've seen it before. But like, and you know it's scary, but you know what's coming in. I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of contradicting myself at the same time a little bit. For reasons that'll be too much to get into now. But Seed of Chucky, number 6. Obviously, it's a stupid movie at the same time. But man, still, you can't deny that the kills were pretty freaking great in this movie, man. Like, far out. I think it might be the bloodiest one out of these, honestly. Number 5. The Child's Play remake. Yes, I'm going that high for the Child's Play remake. I honestly loved it. I was shocked at how much I loved it. And what's crazy is, like, a Child's Play remake was, like, rumored for, like, freaking decades, it felt like. Like, Child's Play remake coming in 2009, Child's Play remake coming in 2011. It finally actually happened in 2019. And I honestly loved it. And they didn't go the Charles Lee Ray route this time. And but I did honestly love this movie. I've only seen it once. You know, but I honestly, genuinely, it was actually quite sad. You know, because, you know, Chucky, he was evil, but he genuinely, in this version, he genuinely saw Andy as his best friend, and he genuinely cared about Andy, you know, and even though he was doing all this horrible stuff, and that was pretty sad, and I'm actually tearing up a little bit just talking about it right now. But I even, like, asked my mom. I told my mom about that, and then I went to ask my mom. I do stuff like this with my mom all the time. You know, I was, like, saying to her, like, hey, Mom, did Chucky at all, in the original Child's Play movies, did he at all actually care about Andy? And she was like, hell no. Yeah, that was pretty funny. And I like it when Mom, like, really gets me on that. You know what I mean. Hopefully. But Child's Play 2019, don't have much to say about it. I really loved it. Child's Play remake rumor for years. I watch it. I actually love it. Awesome movie, in my opinion. Although I've only watched it once. But yeah. And next up, number 4. I'm going with season 1 of the Chucky TV show. I binged every episode of the season, like, just recently, actually. Well, except for episode 1, because I watched episode 1 last year, back when it actually premiered. I didn't get to, like, actually reviewing. I didn't get to watching the rest of the episodes, though. I was both not really in the mood. Maybe a little bit. Maybe the first episode of season 1 didn't really do a whole bunch for me. But, season 1 of Chucky, awesome season. And the multiple Chucky doll thing, that was actually pretty hilarious. Even in Cult of Chucky, it was pretty crack up when the dolls were arguing, hey, which one of us gets to kill Andy? And then the Chucky doll with the messed up hair was like, hello. and they were like, "Oh yeah, you go do that." That part was crack up. The whole idea of it itself, I still prefer like Chucky just being one being, you know what I mean? But that it's still, you still get some crack up scenes with the multiple Chucky doll thing, and this season was honestly really good. You guys know I don't like woke stuff, but like, and I think that might have been another reason that I couldn't really get back into the show. But then I remembered, Don Mancini, the creator of this franchise, he himself is actually gay. And stuff like woke stuff, before like woke was even like a thing really, had definitely been in this franchise before. And so it's not like they put it in here like as some type of trying to pander to certain audiences or anything like that, you know what I mean? Like, I guess they you know, knowing all that, what I mentioned already, I know that they really like actually wanted to put it in, not to pander to nothing, you know what I mean? And this show was awesome. I really wanted to know what was going on next. And season and the as of this video, we're still in the middle of season 2. Episode 2 of season 2 hasn't even premiered yet. As I'm recording this, it definitely absolutely would have by the time this video is actually up. But I'm not a fan of season 2 episode 1. I'm gonna just say it. Although that Bride of Chucky thing was really crack up. And yeah, there's some entertaining things about it. But yeah, I don't know what more to say. Awesome season 1. Hopefully season 2 picks up for me. And yeah, Chucky season 1, great stuff, man. Great stuff. Number 3, I'm gonna go with Child's Play 2. What an awesome sequel, man. And I still remember the first time I watched this. Such a great day that was, man. I watched it on YouTube, actually. Yep, way back in 2007. But I remember that, like, it was, I forgot the name. I don't remember. I don't think I even paid attention to, like, usernames back then. But, like, to kind of, like, bypass, like, the copyright people, I remember, because back then in YouTube, like, I guess, like, you couldn't upload videos longer than, like, 15 minutes or something, you know what I mean? So people, like, sometimes would upload movies in parts, and that's what I loved searching up so many times back then, was full movies and watching them on the computer. So I did search up Child's Play 2 on YouTube, and I watched all of Child's Play 2 on YouTube. And my story of this is, like, I saw Child's Play 2 Part 1. I went to watch that, but the guy who uploaded the video, he did put, like, maybe at the start or the end of the video, that yes, this one is Part 1 of Child's Play 2, but I titled the rest of the parts differently to, like, try and bypass copyright or something like that. This was back in 2007. I don't remember exactly what it said. And then he titled the rest of them Blood Brother, like, and then, like, Blood Brother 2 Part 2, you know, stuff like that. And yeah, and I watched Blood Brother 2, Child's Play 2, you know, but, like, I remember that. I wonder if anyone else in the freaking world remembers that. And I still remember, like, every time something came up, like when Chucky replaced the Tommy good guy doll, like, I would go to my grandma, who I think was, like, working in the bathroom, like, "Hey, Nanny," he was like, "Hey, my name is," and then he paused, "Tommy, you know, I'm your friend to the," you know, stuff like that. And then I think I wasn't really into, like, watching Child's Play 3 back then, honestly. But, like, I think I skipped that, and then I went to Bride of Chucky, which was after Bride of Chucky Part 1. The rest of the parts were called Blood Brothers Bride, Part 2, you know what I mean? And I did watch, I don't think I ended up finishing Bride of Chucky, but I watched most of it. I think I watched up to when they were in the caravan near the end. And I remember anyway, we'll get to Bride of Chucky in a bit. Child's Play 2, great memories with that. And I do love the finale, how when Chucky just goes nuts at the end of the movie, and and he's not even going after Andy with the goal anymore. He's just doing it out of rage because he was too late. And they change that freaking law every freaking time, man. They'll say he has to go into the soul of the one he told he was first actually alive to. And then this one, it was that again, but then he was fully human at the end, so he was too late. And then in Bride of Chucky, they brought in the amulet, and now he needs a kid to kill someone in the Chucky TV show. They change their freaking rules all the time, and it's pretty hilarious actually. But anyway, Child's Play 3, number 3. Sorry, Child's Play 2 at number 3. Number 2, the original Child's Play, baby. I don't really say baby that much, okay? But the original 1988 Child's Play, I still remember the first time I ever heard of this movie. I knew Chucky, but I remember at the warehouse, which is New Zealand's version of Walmart, back in 2006, 2007, something like that. I remember seeing the Child's Play 1 DVD at the store, and I was like, wow, what is this? And I was like, man, he looks like Chucky, but without the stitches. And I remember I literally searched up on Google back when I was 8 years old in 2007. I literally typed is Chucky from Seed of Chucky the same Chucky in the Child's Play movies? And nothing really came up. That's literally what I searched up back in 2007. I think eventually I realized, yes, that is the same one. Man, movie titles, they can be confusing, aren't they? But I watched this. I remember watching, I think, because I was still, watching movies online. But I did watch, I watched, up to, just before Maggie dies on YouTube, but it was at my mom's house, and we had dial-up internet back then, and I guess I just lost my patience, eventually, you know what I mean, and I was just like, screw it. But even though I was enjoying the movie, but Chucky still hadn't really popped up, you know what I mean? Anyway, Child's Play, 1988, absolute classic. It's genuinely, just a great mystery movie, you know what I mean? Chucky, still an awesome character, and, alright, I'll admit, I'm pretty much ready to, end this video now, but Child's Play 1988, absolutely classic, love this film to death, and I don't know what to say, honestly. I feel like I've kind of said, the story, throughout this whole video, you know what I mean? Even when I was talking about parts that, movies that haven't even shown up in the list yet, in the ranking yet. But, yeah, Child's Play, the original, 1988, number 2, classic, excellent movie. I still remember, watching this, at my grandma's house as, my mom was taping it for me 5 hours away, and that was great. And I remember, my grandma saying lines in the movie, just before it happened, believe me now, and then Detective Mike would say in the movie. Believe me, now, like stuff like that. You know what I mean? And yeah, awesome movie. Child's Play 1988. Number 2. Number 1. Bride of Chucky. All right. Although it's not quite the same watching it as an adult somehow, you know, because back when I watched this as a kid, when I watched it as Blood Brothers Bride, I was just so, like, taken back by, like, the gothic atmosphere of this movie, man. And that just pulled me in and just mesmerized me. And that's probably what I really loved most about the movie. And yeah, and I'm aware that it is my favorite movie in 1998, the year I was born. It is. But at the same time, I can still recognize it's flawed as shit. A lot of the acting is terrible. But I love it. I do love it. And so much. And I do think it's the best Chucky thing ever. Still, even if it doesn't quite hit the same as an adult as when it did when I was a kid. Bride of Chucky number 1. Without question to me. I don't really know what more to say. Just a beautiful movie, and the introduction of Scarred Chucky and all that, you know what I mean? I love it. I love it. I don't know what more to say. But yeah, that has got to be my ranking of the Chucky franchise. Hope you guys enjoyed. I don't know what more to say. And yeah, I'm your boy Mark. This is Rank Wednesday 65. Peace out, y'all.